Hello friends, once again welcome back to my channel. Here in this video we will discuss some multiple choice questions and answers related with the power systems. Okay, so let us discuss about that. So let us discuss about the first question, that is economizer is used for. Option A, superheating the steam, preheating the feed water, preheating air, and finally condensing steam. We know that the term economizer, which is coming from the thermal power plant or steam power plant. Okay, thermal power plant. Here you can see the block schematic representation of the block diagram of a thermal power plant. Here the main ingredient for the production of electrical power in a thermal power plant is nothing but the coal. So coal from the coal storage plant is directly entered to the coal handling plant for the pulverization, and after that pulverization the coal which is directly entered to the boiler. So at the boiler there will be a hot water and a hot air and hot water. So the combination of coals, hot water and hot air at a high temperature will make steams. So here air which is coming from the atmosphere through the chimney directly enter to the air preheater. So at the air preheater, the air will get heated. This heated air will directly enter to the boiler. So at the boiler there will be cold, there will be hot air, and here you can see from the economizer an arrow is given to the boiler. So economizer is used here in order to heat the feed water which is coming from the water storage area. Here the feed water which is coming from the river or a canal or from any kind of water storage area, the feed water we can collect and directly which will be entered to the economizer. So the function of the economizer is to heat the feed water. Preheating of feed water is the function of the economizer. So the hot water will directly enter to the boiler from the economizer. So at the boiler there will be cold, hot air and hot water. These are the main three ingredients which will directly enter to the boiler. Okay, so the combination of these three things at the boiler with a high temperature will make steam and flue gases along with the flue gases. So the flue gases will directly enter to the superheater. Superheater will again heat the steam which is coming from the boiler and absorbs the heat, the flue gases, heat of the flue gases. This flue gases will directly enter to the economizer, and the heat by using the temperature or the heat of the flue gases, the economizer will be able to heat the feed water, and the rest of the heat along with the flue gases will directly enter to the air preheater. Air which is coming from the atmosphere is directly heated at the air preheater by utilizing the heat of the flue gases which is coming from the boiler. This way the air gets heated and the flue gases will directly enter to the atmosphere through the chimney. So the hot steam from the superheater will directly enter to the turbines, and the turbine will convert the steam energy into electrical energy at the generator, and finally we will get a three-phase AC supply. This is the simple working explanation for the thermal power plant. So here the question is, economizer is used for preheating the feed water. Okay. Second question, which fuel is used to generate heat energy in thermal power plant? Option A, coal, B. Wood, C. Biogas, and D. Kerosene. Already we have discussed these points in the last question. That is the first question. That is, coal is the fuel which is used to generate heat energy in the thermal power station. Okay. Third question. What is the name of part that increases the pressure of air supplied to the engine to increase the power in diesel power plant? Option A, governing system. Option B, cooling system. Option C, fuel system. And finally, supercharger. In the case of a diesel power plant, to increase the pressure of the air, we are using compressor. Compressors are also known as superchargers. So, superchargers are used to increase the pressure of the air which is supplied to the engine. Okay. Fourth question. Which device further raises the temperature of steam in thermal power station? The temperature of the steam will be increased by which device? Option A, boiler. Option B, superheater. Option C, economizer. And finally, option D, air preheater. Here the question is based on to increase the temperature of the steam at the power station. We know that steam which is coming from the boiler and which is directly entered to the superheater to increase or to rise the temperature. And at the superheater, the flue gases are absorbed and the flue gases directly enter to the economizer and to the air preheater. Already we have discussed these points in the first question based on the thermal block diagram. Okay, so here to increase the temperature of the steam we are using superheater, but to increase the temperature of the air we are using air preheater. To increase the temperature of the feed water we are using economizer, and to increase the temperature of the steam we are using superheater in thermal power stations. So here we will discuss about the fifth question, that is, which material is used to make moderator in nuclear reactor? Option A, graphite. Option B, uranium. Option C, nickel. And finally, copper. We know that in a nuclear reactor, some kind of material like uranium-235, thorium, or which will be bombarded with electrons. This will create more electrons and more energy, and again this will bombard with another electrons and will provide more heat and electrons. This will be a chain reaction. In order to and this will provide more heat, and the heat energy or the steam which will be converted into electrical energy in the nuclear power plant. The main component for the nuclear power plant is the nuclear reactor. So here at the nuclear reactor there will be a pressure vessel, and to control the bombarding of electrons or the movement of electrons in the case of a nuclear power plant, here we will use a moderator and control rods. Moderator and control rods, they will control the chain reaction. Already we have discussed the working of nuclear power plant and nuclear reactor in detail in my video. For reference, we can go through that video. I will give the link in my description. Okay. So in a nuclear reactor, the bombardment of electrons with the uranium-235 which will occur at the reactor. This will create and split many more electrons and provide more heat, and again this process is continuously going at the nuclear reactor. So in order to control the movement of the electrons, moderators are used here. So the function of the moderator is to slow down the movements of electrons, and thereby the speed of chain reaction can be controlled by controlling the movements of the free electrons. So the function of the moderator is to slow down the movements of the electrons. Generally we are using heavy water and graphites as the moderators. Commonly using heavy waters and graphites. The function another one is to control the nuclear reaction, that is control rods. Control rods are the type of rods which are provided at the nuclear reactor. The function of the control rod is to absorb the electrons. Or they will eat the electrons. Simply we can say they will eat electrons, and thereby they will reduce the number of electrons, and thereby the chain reaction will get controlled by the control rods. Generally boron, cadmium rods are used as the moderators, control rods. So here the question is based on which material is used to make moderators. So in this option we can directly choose option A, graphite material are used as the moderators in nuclear power plant. Okay. Sixth question. How sun heat energy is converted into electrical energy? Option A, by solar cells by reflecting the sunlight. Option C, thermocouple method. Option D, by radiation method. Here in solar power system, the heat energy is converted into electrical energy by solar cells. Directly you can select the answer. Here we are going to discuss about the seventh question. Location of surge tank in a hydroelectric power plant is nearer to option A, turbine, tail race, reservoir, and finally dam. Here you can see a schematic representation for a hydroelectric power plant. Here the reservoir is placed here. The function of the reservoir is to collect or keep the water. Dam, which will helps to store the water and prevent the flow of water, and they will be a concrete structure or will be a strong structure which will protect the water at the reservoir, and from the reservoir a pressure channel is coming from the dam which will carry the water from the reservoir and which will directly enter to the valve house, and from the valve house penstoke starts and this will reaches to the power station. At the power station, mechanical energy of the water which will be directly converted into the electrical energy by the alternators, and after that the water which will directly enter to the tail race. This is the flow of water through this from the dam to the power station, and between or very nearer to the valve house you can see a surge tank. It is an open vessel. The function of the surge tank is to control the pressure at the penstoke and thereby reducing or to balance the water hammering effect occurring at the penstoke and by protect the penstoke. When we close the valves at the power station or valve house or somewhere else, in order to control the sudden movements of the water which will make damages in the penstoke, in order to provide protection to the penstoke during closing and opening of valves, we are using an open vessel which will control the flow of water through the penstoke by carrying the water and by releasing the water at the opening time of the valve. So in this way the water hammering effect water hammering effect, which will be controlled by the surge tank. Water hammering effect. From these options, the surge tank is placed for the protection of the turbine, for the protection of the penstock, and which is placed nearer. From these options, we can directly choose turbines. The location of the surge tank is placed nearer to the turbine. Okay. Eighth question. Nuclear reactors usually employ option A fission, fusion, both fission and fusion, option D none of this. You know that in nuclear reactors fission is going on there. Usually we are employing nuclear fission, but in the case of sun there will be the fusion of metals or fusion of elements will take place at the sun, and this will fusion of hydrogen or some materials which will make more heats by fusion. But in nuclear reactors here we will use the fission method. Okay. Ninth question. In a nuclear power plant, nuclear reaction is controlled by option A iron rods, cadmium rods, graphite rods, and brass rods. In a nuclear power plant, control rods are used to control the chain reaction, and moderators are also used. Control rods are normally boron or cadmium. Moderators are graphite and heavy water. So this question, it is regarding the rods. So directly we can use cadmium or rods. 10th question. For high head and low discharge, the water turbine used is option A Pelton wheel, option B Kaplan turbine, C Francis turbine, and finally propeller turbine. We know that based on the construction of turbines, there will be impulse turbine, and a reaction turbine. Impulse turbines are normally used for high heads. For that we are using Pelton wheels. But for reaction turbines, there will be Francis turbines. Francis turbines are used for medium heads, and Kaplan turbine, they are used for low heads. Here high head and low discharge we are using Pelton wheels, but for low head or medium head and high discharge we are using reaction turbine. In reaction turbines there will be Francis and Kaplan turbines. If the head is medium, then Francis. For low head we are using Kaplan turbines. Okay. Based on this, high head means the range is regarding, if the low head means 0 to 30 meter. For medium heads, 30 meter to 300 meter. For high head means above 300 meters are coming under these categories. Okay. So thank you. In the coming sections, we will discuss more questions about power systems, which will be very helpful for you the technical exams. Okay, thank you.